Well, good morning. Welcome back to At First Glance. I'm Jared Wasson.
And I'm Pastor Michael Miller.
Wow, I am so excited to be here again. This is great.
Yes.
I love recording this. This is so much fun.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
So we got a new one this week. This was actually pretty new to me. I mean, I've heard a few of these lines, but overall, this parable we're going through today is new and exciting. Well, actually, you know what? For our congregation, we are going to be kind of switching gears a little bit for service, and we're going to be doing a creation series. Is that correct?
That is correct. We're starting this Sunday, August 3rd, and for the 5 Sundays in August, we'll be focusing on creation. The series is called Grounded in Creation, and it's going to look at different elements of creation, starting with water, and then earth, and air, and fire, and then concluding with the flora and the fauna that inhabit all of those spaces.
Awesome. Well, for this, we are still going to be sticking with the lectionary. So it'll be kind of cool for those who are listening. You'll get both this gospel and then a bonus gospel.
On
Is that
Sunday
right?
morning, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we love bonus gospels here.
Yes, for sure.
So
But
that's
it's exciting to be able to also go through this series in Luke throughout this month, because we've been hearing this unfolding journey of Jesus as he moves toward Jerusalem and toward crucifixion. A lot of it has to do with what it means to follow him in this way, and so it's a great series on discipleship. So
absolutely, we remember from a few weeks ago, Jesus has his face set towards Jerusalem.
Correct.
And we have our face set towards him. So in a way, we're all kind of walking to Jerusalem together.
Yep, and that's what his teaching is all about. So
absolutely, it's pretty exciting. So for today, we're going to be going through Luke chapter 12, verses 13 through 21. If you're joining us at home, feel free to read along. It's great. We love this. I'm going to hop right into it. This is the parable of the rich fool. Someone in the crowd said to him, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the family inheritance with me." But he said to him, "Friend, who set me to be a judge or arbiter over you?" And he said to them, "Take care. Be on your guard against all kinds of greed, for one's life does not consist in abundance of possessions." Then he told them a parable. The land of the rich man produced abundantly, and he thought to himself, "What should I do, for I have no place to store my crops?" Then he said, "I will do this. I will pull down my barns and build larger ones, and there I will store my grains and my goods. And I will say to my soul, 'Soul, you have ample goods laid up for many years. Relax, eat, drink, be merry.' But God said to him, 'You fool, this very night your life is being demanded of you. And the things that you have prepared, whose will they be?' So it is with those who store up treasures for themselves, but are not rich towards God." So on my initial read through this, because I'm not very familiar with this parable, it kind of confused me a little bit. Yeah, it was interesting. Basically, what this story is saying, this parable is saying, is that this man is doing really well for himself. Mm-hmm. He decides to tear down his barns that are not storing enough for him because he has such an abundance, mm-hmm. and decides to build larger barns. But then he dies. Uh-huh. And how often does that happen to us? I think that's interesting. It feels like just when we're getting to the good part of our lives, then it seems to end all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. But there's a reflection here that I really liked, and it kind of cleared this story up for me. Mm-hmm. Is that all right if I read that?
Sure.
All right. So this is a reflection by Robert Barron, and it's entitled "Haunted by Non-Being," which I think is a very cool title. Uh-huh. All right. So this says, "A rich man has been so successful that he doesn't have enough space to store his harvest. So he tears down his barns and builds bigger ones. But that very night he dies, and all of it comes to naught. So it is with those who store up treasures for themselves, but are not rich towards God. No matter how good, how beautiful a state of affairs is here below, it is destined to pass into non-being. That sunset I enjoyed last night, that radiantly beautiful display, is now forever gone. It lasted only a while. That beautiful person, attractive, young, full of life, creative, joyful, will eventually age, get sick, break down, and die. Sounds pretty depressing so far.
So far, yes.
An image that always comes to mind when I think of these things is a gorgeous firework that bursts open like a giant flower, and then, in the twinkling of an eye, is gone forever. Everything is haunted by non-being. Everything, finally, is a firework. But this is not meant to depress us. It is meant to redirect our attention precisely to the things that are above, to the eternity of God. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that reflection kind of clears it up for me. What we're doing in this parable, it's not God's not against saving or preparing for the future, but it's about directing your life and your abundances towards the purpose of God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, and part of the confusion that happens with this parable, I think, is that we're hearing Jesus describe this man. He's blessed with this abundant harvest.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have enough room to store it, so he builds a bigger barn to put it in.
Yeah, that doesn't seem foolish to me.
Yeah, I mean,
that seems realistic.
In our culture, like, what else would you do?
Right.
You
fill up your closet with clothes. What are you going to do? Get a bigger closet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's exactly what this guy's doing.
Get a bigger house.
Get a bigger house. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And so that's the culture that we live in.
Absolutely.
And the values that are kind of core to that.
Mm-hmm.
So you start listening to this parable that asserts those values, and you're nodding and nodding, and then all of a sudden, what?
Wait a minute, he dies?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a big twist in the story that I don't think we see as big a twist in other parables where he just turns around and dies.
Yeah, and everybody dies, but that he got it all wrong,
right?
Makes us go, wait a minute, what just happened?
Right.
So one of the things, when you identify as a disciple of Jesus, it invites you into a new set of values.
Mm-hmm.
And so a parable like this is helpful to confront the values that you've held to this point and think about what is a disciple value?
Right.
Where are the tensions? And clearly there's tensions here for us in our culture.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because greed is
prevalent.
I mean, greed is expected.
Even. Yeah. Greed is greedy in our culture, you could say.
Yeah.
It's just everywhere.
That's the way our economy is built.
It is.
You keep wanting.
It is, yeah.
You're in order to sell more, you need to get people to want more.
Absolutely.
And there's no limit to it.
No.
It's not like, you want to accumulate to the point where you're comfortable. Well, that keeps changing.
It does. Yeah.
And,
what's comfort?
And so those who have the advantages, are blessed with an abundance, can keep building on that abundance, and those who don't have that keep falling behind on it. So we get this disparity of income and wealth.
Absolutely.
And what's notable in Luke's second volume, which is the story of Acts,
mm-hmm.
When the Spirit comes and these communities are embracing the new life of Jesus' way, they're selling what they have.
Absolutely.
And they're sharing it with one another. I mean, it's just a noticeably radically different way of being.
It is.
Which is what he's pointing to here yet. And I think, I'll speak for myself, I hear that and I kind of put
you
that
and
to
me
the
both.
side,
Yeah.
or try to justify the stuff that I've accumulated. How do you plan for retirement?
Yeah.
I mean, there's just this tension there.
There is.
And there's no simple answer to it, but I think the parable invites us to wrestle with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, one of the things that it leaves open, which I'm curious about your thoughts. It doesn't say what this farmer should do.
Right.
So if this were the parable of the rich wise man, let's
mm-hmm.
say, what would this guy have done?
Uh-huh.
I mean, he doesn't know he's about to die. Should he have kept some of it and given some away since he had such an abundance? Or what do you think?
I think that's the beauty of the way the parable works.
Yeah.
It leaves you with that question that you have to wrestle with. And it's another reason why I'm excited that we're continuing to tell these gospel stories through the month of August.
Yes.
In order, because Jesus doesn't end there.
No, he does not.
He continues to develop that theme in the coming readings. So we'll have a chance to look at that. But I think that's the question this week that we ought to wrestle with, is what does it mean to be rich toward God?
Yeah.
If we had been in that spot, and in some form or another, I think we are in that spot.
Absolutely.
At least most of us. Even those who are on the poorer end of things in the United States are in a better place than a lot of people in the world. So what do we do with what we have if we're going to be rich toward God?
Absolutely. And I think it's kind of neat how parables tend to relate back to each other. So we have a open question here, and Jesus loves to leave open questions. It's been a trend. Makes things very clear for us. But we might find in another parable that there is a pointed, not answer specifically, but there is a way of being that we're supposed to be following. So I'm excited to keep going with this and see where that leads. Because we don't want to end up like this rich fool.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing in this story is that he accumulates everything to himself. I think that's our temptation. Because our culture encourages that.
Yeah.
But what if the Acts story is that they're taking what they have and they're sharing it, and everybody has then. So I think that's a hint.
Yeah. So
about what
this reminds me of one of your sermons from Lent. I believe you said ipsum esse, the turning within of oneself. Is that right?
I didn't say the Latin, but
I think you did.
Did I really?
I think you did.
Wow.
Because that's where I learned it, and I thought I was like, that's a cool thing to say in conversation. And now I've used it. So there we go. But I'm pretty sure you did.
Incurvatus in se.
The incurvatus in se.
To be curved in oneself.
Yeah. So that message of being turned within is kind of what is happening with this rich man. We're not meant to be turned within. We're meant to be going out. And this rich man could have done a lot of good with this abundance. But as it's said now, all the things you have prepared, whose will they be? It's kind of there's a dispute now with this abundant wealth that's not answered. So yeah, it's kind of neat how things relate back to each other.
Yeah, so if we're not to be curved in ourselves, but to open out to others, what does that mean in terms of our possessions, our money,
our social life? I mean, who are we talking to? Where are we sending or spreading our love? Just to the people we know and care about, or to just everyone around us?
Yeah, it touches on a lot of dimensions, but I think the issue of possessions and wealth is a critical one for our culture.
Absolutely, it is.
I remember someone saying you never hear a sermon on the commandment not to covet.
Right.
Because
it's a tough one.
We're multiple times a day we're encouraged to covet.
Absolutely.
To want something that we don't have.
Anytime I see a commercial of a jet ski, right then, I really want the jet ski.
Yep.
So that's an example, personally. Yeah, so I agree with you.
You want
it's
stuff
tough
that you don't even need, or
we don't
even use.
Right. I don't have anything to haul a jet ski, but it looked cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we live in that environment.
We do.
And, we plan for retirement. We set aside a lot of money.
We do.
And there's a period of life where we expect that we're not going to be working and we need to care for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But we're entirely individualistic about that.
You're right. We are.
What would it be for a community to care for one another? I mean, Social Security is set up in that kind of a way to provide something for everybody. But for a community, really, to be in touch with one another, to care for one another, all of a sudden you realize that'd be a completely different world.
Absolutely. And I'm lucky to be part of a church that is starting to build this kind of really inclusive community with each other.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to ask myself, how do I contribute to that?
Mm-hmm.
What can I do to enhance this community? And if we're all thinking that way, we'll be golden.
Mm-hmm.
We'll bring heaven down to earth with us.
Mm-hmm. But that, I like that. What that brings to mind is that there's certain points, we'll be willing to be vulnerable with one another. We'll open ourselves to one another up to a certain point. And money is one of those places where, we don't like to talk about how much we have, how much we make, or how little.
Yeah.
And how do we deal with the disparities in income and wealth that are present within our church community?
Yeah.
We don't even know how to talk about that.
We don't. There's no language for that.
Let alone to live into something different as Jesus is inviting.
Yeah.
So deep challenges.
Deep challenges. We see another example. I think we do this every week where
Mm-hmm.
we see another example of Jesus calling us to live a way that we're not comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's how we know we're on the right path,
Mm-hmm.
is that we're not comfortable with
Mm-hmm.
it. So I'm really excited to see where this goes.
Yep, I am too.
On that note,
and uncomfortable.
Yeah, very uncomfortable. I have shivers down my back right now, and not just because it's cold in here, but it is a little bit.
Oh. And he leaves us with a question. So
he does. So we should all be thinking about
this
it.
Week.
Absolutely.
Ponder that in your own life situation. What could you imagine if we lived in a different way?
All right. Well, thank you, Pastor.
Thank you, Jared.
This has been At First Glance. See you next week.